why I cannot be an atheist, why it would be impossible for me to not believe in God.
Oh, hey buddy, it's okay for you not to want to be an atheist, because to be fair, our club is getting pretty big, and frankly, I'm sick of having to share my baby sandwiches with everybody. So it's cool. You stay on your side of the fence and I'll stay on mine. And I won't have any problems with you, unless your reason for doing a god is really, really silly. But that's never happened before, has it?
I want to share with you today what has convinced me of the reality of God. Now,
well, it must be some staggering shit. I mean, if I were to believe in God, it would have to be shown not only with irrefutable proof for his existence, but also that the proof itself would have to be something that is not better explained by another phenomenon. And if it was something experiential, I would have to also be convinced that I wasn't hallucinating or suffering mass hysteria or really, really hungry for babies. Basically, the epistemological bar for God's evidence is really fucking high for me. I think it's mostly because of how I hate God and love Satan though, so...
This is not going to be some video where I go into the arguments, the defense, the reasons, or the apologetics behind the existence of God.
Oh shit, so it's actually evidence. It's things that you can demonstrate to have happened and are in fact directly attributable to a universe maker guy who also gets ancient idiots to write books that are categorically untrue about the origins of said universe. Probably as some sort of joke. Cool, I am genuinely looking forward to it.
That stuff is all great, but that's just not what I'm doing here today.
Is it great? I think the word you're probably looking for is Oh wait, no, that's what I'm looking for. I suppose what you mean by great is I, as in you, find it convincing. But for me, it's 10 pounds of shit in a 9-pound box, aka overflowing with bullshit.
Today, I want to share with you things that I have personally seen, experienced, and things that have happened to me.
Oh no, here I was thinking that it was gonna be, here's my god tooth that I got when I knocked the fucker out. Or here's an angel feather covered in an ungodly, ironically, amount of tear juice when I poked it in its single, gigantic, biblically accurate angel eyeball and stole while it wasn't looking. Or perhaps as simple and obviously made up as, I totally got a voice message from God telling me to pick up the dry cleaning. Definitely not my mum, knowing that I would forget. Only God knows how much of a flake I am. But no, it's fucking anecdote. All the way down. And what do we say? The plural of anecdote is fucking kill me.
That have me completely convinced that there really is a God who made the world and who made everything we see.
Completely convinced. Completely. Jesus, I'm not even completely convinced that whiskey is the best liquid for promoting a long life and happy drunk times. There could be something better that I just haven't found yet. Probably because I'm always too shit-faced to look. Seriously, anyone who is completely convinced of fucking anything, well, you're actually wild to me. Doubt is such an important part of living life to me that thinking I could not be wrong about something is actually really weird. Maybe it's just a me problem, but experience tells me that the people who think that they are 100% right about things, outside of, say, a maths problem, are already wrong. But that doesn't mean I can't be comfortably assured that I'm probably right, just that only the ignorant ever seem to be that unable to fathom that they might not actually be infallible.
So let's get into it.
Let's do. I can already tell that these are going to be incredible examples of why you have such confidence in your claims. That is to say that they are in fact not credible, and it's baffling why you think that they are even good reasons, let alone fucking flawless apparently.
I could tell you the story of when I was 17 years old and I was going into my senior year of basketball. I had sprained my ankle the year before.
And then God came down and kissed you right on the boo-boo and you were magically healed from a minor injury that will recover over time. And you, of course, have it all on tape, right? I can only hope. That or it's about the 17-year-old bit and basically Jesus came along and gave you a slap for being a teenager and told you to stop it. That's how I stopped being 17. Jumped straight to 30 after that. Good times.
And while it had mostly recovered, there was still reoccurring issues that had not been completely healed. And it was still bugging me from time to time where I would still have to really take care of it, really baby it. And never really went away.
Oh, f*** me, is this going to be some faith healer shit? Or praying to God to heal your foot? Or some other such bullshit? I think it was Tim Minchin who did a great takedown of that idea in a song called Thank You God, tearing apart the claim that God had healed the cataracts of a guy called Sam's mum, which has the fucking brilliant line of, "Thank you, Sam, for the chance to acknowledge this omnipotent ophthalmologist," to which one observer commented, "I don't know how anyone can think there isn't a God. He obviously wrote this song." Good stuff.
And then one week we went to church and there was a guest speaker in town, and towards the end of the service he asked for those who needed a healing in their body to come to the front to get prayer.
Ew, I told you, faith healers. Ugh, they're so gross. Now, there's a lot of criticisms of faith healing. There's the fact that many of them are literally complete fakes, in that they have audience plants that will show some actually miraculous healing, like the blind seeing or some shit like that. And you just wait until we can figure out how to make perfect artificial limbs, and they'll definitely add regrowing arms to the shtick. Then there's what is effectively a spiritual placebo, where the euphoria of such a deliberately controlled event can cause people to believe that their pain has gone away, temporarily at least. Endorphins are a hell of a drug, and generally by the time things get back to being normal, okay, worse for these people, and I don't want to mince my words here, these duplicitous little cunts have moved on to a new town of rubes. That's why they were a guest, mate. Fact is, if these wankers could do shit, they would be working in hospitals. But for some reason, they don't want to have to do checkups on people after the fact. Almost like they know they aren't actually going to be better, and might have those evil question things that Satan clearly made them come up with. Like, why am I still in agony?
And my parents forced me to go to the front.
Healy X embarrassment. Fantastic. To be fair, that is how I deal with the morning after a long old night. I just walk out into my front lawn naked, wait for a neighbour to spot me, and then rush inside. Works every time. That adrenaline really gets the blood pumping and the hangover gone. You could try it yourself, but don't blame me if you get arrested. You should have been faster.
And so he ended up praying for me and moving on to the next person, but once he was done praying, he encouraged the people he had prayed for to check it out and to see how it was feeling.
Well, that is the other one. People will often feel compelled to believe that, well, everyone else is saying that they got better. I guess if I'm not feeling any better, I should just say that I am, because I'm probably just being too skeptical like the arsehole I am. Better pretend I don't know how to think for myself, wouldn't want to stand out.
So I immediately went out into the lobby. I started walking around in the lobby, and I was a little bit surprised at first because I noticed all of the pain, which had been there before he prayed, was gone.
An important question is, what exactly had you done beforehand to deal with the pain? Had you sought treatment, or were you just waiting for it to get better? If you were just waiting, you might have been making shit a bit worse for yourself if you waited too long. When you're experiencing pain, you can actually make it worse by tensing up and shit and not doing exercises to help improve things. So in a way, the guy could have convinced you to stop doing so, and that would definitely have felt better. Other possibilities is that you were just getting over it already, and the whole euphoria thing pushed you temporarily over the edge to feeling really great today, and then tomorrow, oh well, I'm a bit sore again, but it's not as bad as I was. It must have been the guy, and by the guy I mean fucking God.
And still in disbelief, I then went out into the parking lot, and I then started running around in the parking lot and running and jumping off of my ankle to see how it had felt.
Yeah, it really sounds like you hadn't been exercising the ankle. So now you aren't nursing it so hard. You probably gave yourself a chance to actually get back into shape. I mean, from the sounds of it, it had been a long time since you sprained it, and ankle sprains only last about 6 to 8 weeks before you can properly start doing things again. I think you just kind of needed permission to do so.
And I still remember to this day being in shock and being completely amazed that all of the pain in my ankle was completely gone.
Thing is, I'm really not trying to call you a liar, except perhaps to yourself, but almost certainly mistaken that your pain probably came back a few days later, but you will have chalked it up as unrelated, or that you were healed, but you've just pushed it a little bit too hard. But again, maybe now you realized how much better you already felt compared to a few months months ago, not realizing that's exactly how you felt before you were healed, but are now attributing it to that. Ultimately, let's just say that everything about your story is true, that you did absolutely go from practically crippled to running and jumping and all that good shit. All that tells me is that the guy did something. It doesn't tell you that God did it. It doesn't even tell you that any God exists. All you know is a man mumbled at you and then you felt better. For all you know, the guy was a fucking witch. Not exactly 100% convincing, but hey, tell us more.
Or I could share the story how after 9 years of being stuck in an addiction, the power of God set me free.
Oh, okay, this sounds a little bit more serious. I mean, to be frank, it's another that could possibly be explained by other means, I am sure. But at least it's something a little bit more impressive than my injury that tends to heal after 8 weeks. Healed after 8 weeks. Hooray! Thanks, God.
After 9 years of dealing with an addiction that nothing could get me free from, I tried all of the stuff. I tried all the self-help. I tried all the disciplines. I tried all of the things.
Okay, is it just me or is anyone else bothered by how vague he's being? You tried what self-help? What stuff? What did you actually do to stop your addiction? And this is not just because I want to know what the goddamn addiction was, but because maybe what you actually tried was sweet FA and you could have actually done something more effective instead, but didn't for some reason. We need to know how impressed we should be. Or, not.
And nothing could get me free. But how after one night when I was praying and reading my Bible really late, the gospel came to life and I saw how Jesus paid the price so I could go free from sin.
Sorry to interrupt, but seriously, what addiction? Because if you had been hardcore abusing drugs and alcohol and what have you, well, I don't know, man. You look pretty healthy to me. The thing is, that shit tends to kind of age people, and well, you don't look all that old to me.
And when I saw that, everything changed. And from that day, years and years later...
Okay, but how fucking old are you? So not only did your addiction last like a decade, it has also been years since it stopped. What? Were you like 10 years old or something like that? That, or put simply, for an addict, you look fucking amazing. Must have had the faith healer take 10 years off your skin as well. Damn.
I have been completely set free from that addiction. I haven't stumbled into it once.
Oh, fuck, I figured it out. It's masturbation, isn't it? God damn it, man. I was legitimately worried about you, but all this vagary and the fact that you were apparently addicted for 10 years plus and what, at least 5 years, if not more extra. There's no fucking way it's not that. And look, while I understand chronic masturbation exists, for most Christians, jacking off like once a week or even once a month is considered crazy amounts. So if I'm right, his judgment of having an addiction, one that he has not claimed to have been diagnosed with, by the way, that could basically be stopped by, you know what, this time I'm gonna stop doing it. It really just doesn't sound to me like it's all that big a deal. Sure, if you're holding your sausage hostage every 5 minutes or so, you might have a problem, but doing it when you're bored and got nothing better to do, it's fine. And the real problem, in my humble and sexy opinion, is the sheer brain rot that comes from assholes telling you that you're a terrible person with a horrible addiction for having basically a healthy fucking sex drive.
God set me free from an addiction.
No, you set you free from your addiction. Again, even if everything you said is accurate about having an addiction, you did that, not God, you. All you proved is that fucking willpower exists.
Or I could tell you the story of how when I was a very little boy...
What, 10 minutes before your masturbation addiction? And look, maybe it's something else and I'm just being a total asshole, but it's weird that he won't say what it is. I mean, you are preaching, trying to show your faith in God. Surely, if it was something you know is impressive, you would say it, which makes me think that he is completely confident that it's kind of dumb.
And I would go to church and I would hear these stories of people saying the Lord was speaking to them.
Ah, of course. And the important thing about people of faith is that they never make stuff up or exaggerate things for effect or are just plain fucking delusional. No, they all 100% had conversations with God about dandelions and unicorns and all sort of random shit that doesn't actually matter. I mean, why ask God about bad things that are going to happen so you can avoid it? Or, I don't know, ask for the fucking lottery numbers or some shit that would actually benefit you and demonstrate that's what he was doing. No, you could never do that. It's too obvious, I guess.
And I would say, I don't know about that. Like, the Lord doesn't speak to me. And so I talked to my dad.
And hopefully he turned to you and gently said, grow up, son, it's not literal. It's just the concept of listening to God. You know, that shit is just in your brain. Like, literally. I'm pretty sure they did a science. And when people thought about God speaking to them, it was the same part of their brain that fired up as when they imagined things. Almost like that's not what's fucking happening. Of course, then this lot will all be like, well, duh, he's speaking through your imagination. And at that point, there's no fucking winning, is there?
And I was like, hey, I want the Lord to speak to me. Does he do that? Like, how can he speak to me?
Well, I'll let you into a little secret. All you got to do is really, 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 really want it. And then you'll be willing to believe fucking anything, pal. I mean, seriously, if all the things you think are this absolute proof that God has been doing things for you, I can only assume that you must really want to believe in God. Because, man, I don't want to believe in God. But importantly, I don't not want to believe in God either. I just want to know what the reality is. I'm pretty damn neutral on the subject, but remain completely unconvinced, especially by shit like this guy's been doing.
He sat down and prayed with me, and he said, why don't you ask the Lord what book to read in your Bible next?
Oh, for fuck's sake, I know where this is going. And you know what? I take it back. I am completely convinced that this is going to be really fucking stupid. And such an obvious thing as to, no idiot, that wasn't God. That was a very obvious natural process at play. You weren't hearing the fucking voice of God, you absolute doofus. Cut it out.
And so we took a few moments together to pray, and I asked the Lord, and I wasn't sure what would happen, but...
You should have been sure what would happen. You asked for a very simple piece of information, something that would flit into your head regardless of what you were asking God for, or if you were just trying to remember something.
Just immediately it came to my mind. Samuel, and I shared with my dad, and I was like, I think the Lord spoke to me to read Samuel, and he smiled back at me and said the Lord spoke the same thing to me.
Wow, your dad's a lying piece of shit, mate. Unless you were both staring at something with that written on it, that is 100% something that didn't fucking happen. Or your dad's another fucking witch. But no, that didn't come from God. It came from your brain, and then your dad pretended that he felt the same way to keep you convinced that God am real. And you are just so desperately looking for these miracles, you're going to find them literally anywhere, no matter how fucking stupid they are. That or these all were absolute fiction. And then it would be a case of liar father, liar son. No, I did not misspeak.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstar Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the